Let me get my little
sleep setup.
Little mini helmet action going too. What up, y'all? It's your girl Dehlia with PhilaDehliaEagles.com coming to you with the Week 14 Eagles versus Seahawks pregame video. Now, as you can see, I have my laptop here. I'm actually Skyping with a very special guest, Norb-Cam. He's a diehard Seahawks fan, and you have a YouTube channel as well. Tell us a little about yourself before we get into it.
All right, what's up, you guys? This is Norb-Cam. My channel is Norb-Cam on YouTube, and yes, I'm a big-time 12, big-time Seahawks fan. Been one my whole life, and season ticket holder, so I'm at all the games. And yeah, coming off the Super Bowl, trying to repeat, baby.
Oh, just trying to rub it in. All right, well, that's gonna spark us getting into the real good stuff here, talking about this game. So let's do it. You ready?
All right, let's do it.
Well, okay, first of all, how long have you been doing these videos? I've checked out your videos, and you guys scope him out. He does like really high quality movie production stuff. Like me, I'm ghetto, self-taught, like, you know, I do this janky stuff and I try and make it work, but he is legit. So, video is your thing then, right? Like,
yeah, it is. I've been doing it since I was a kid, really, but it's actually my day job too. So I have a production company called Quantum Productions, and we do corporate commercial work during the day, and then in my spare time, I've rolled it into this whole Seahawks Norbcam channel, and I've only been doing it for a year. So
wow.
I'm new to the YouTube thing in the sense that I'm just on my freshman year, but
dang,
you know, not a bad year to do it when we go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so jealous. Like, now the Seahawks, I don't have any hatred towards them, and you guys are a respectable team, and you guys were on that dreaded list that the Eagles are on, which is the no Super Bowls list. And there's very few teams on it, and you guys were one of them, and you are now off that list. You have your first Super Bowl, and I just gotta know, what is that feeling like to have never had it, and then all of a sudden it's here, and you have the bragging rights? What is that like? Because I hope
you know all too well, like you said, having the same kind of history. But man, I mean, prior to last year's Super Bowl, you know, we had one appearance, which was that Pittsburgh Steelers game, which was a horrible, don't even want to think about that game. But prior to that, you know, the only championship our city had seen was the Sonics from 1978 or 79, you know. So we had a drought of just sports misery, getting close but never quite getting there. And when it came to that NFC Championship game against the 49ers, when it came down to the wire, I mean, everybody was just so pins and needles, because if we were to lose that game, I think our hearts would have been ripped out and never recovered from that. So I'm so glad Sherman got the tip, we got the interception, went to the Super Bowl, and I was fortunate enough to then go with my dad to that game in New York City, New Jersey, and man, it was a trip of a lifetime, and you know, it was like a dream come true as a fan. So you know, I can't say how proud, so elated to have gone through that experience and to be there to witness the first one. There'll never be another first one, so I was very lucky to be part of that.
Did you cry? I know some people cry.
I got a little watery-eyed. I definitely got a little watery-eyed. So, you know, sometimes I would just think about it later on, or when I was putting the show together of the video, I'd get emotional, you know, re-experiencing it again. So, yeah, it was definitely tear-worthy for sure.
It's, you know, there's certain moments in life where it's acceptable for a man to cry, and I believe the Super Bowl is one of them.
Yep, you don't lose any, you know, man points for crying when your team wins the Super Bowl. So, yeah, you're safe when you do that.
All right, well, you know, like I said, your team I've never really had any beef with, but you did beat us the last time we played, and it was during one of our worst seasons, during our epic, you know, losing streak in that 2012 season. We had like 8-game losing streak, and you guys were part of that sadness. But other than that, I don't have any beef with you, except this season, you guys faced a team that I hate, that I despise. You let them go into your stadium and beat you, and you know what team that is, because we play them next week, and Dallas sucks, and you let them beat you. How did that happen?
Look, that was That was an anomaly. Yeah, I agree. I share that. I despise the Cowboys too. Okay, so it's not like you're the only ones who don't like them. All right, the whole city. I don't know who made them America's team. I don't know where that came from, but apparently that's what the term they got. But not in our house. So we were bummed. We should have won that game, even though they were kind of having their way with us. All we had to do was stop a 3rd and 20, and we win that game. And it was a lot of bad luck. We had a couple key guys get with injuries in that game, and it just was enough that Dallas squeaked away with the win. And that was a heartbreaker. I was just as pissed as you were, Delia. So
and you already know we own them this Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that say about your team facing us this week?
Look, you can't apply that logic of, well, if A team beats B team and B team plays C team, that means A team has to beat C team. It doesn't work that way, all right?
It does in some occasions. In some occasions it does.
Some occasions, but it's all about matchups. It's all about that particular week. And, you just never know. You never know. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs beat us, and then they lost to the Raiders 5 days later. So it's like... where does that make any sense, right?
Hey,
but
any given
you guys
Sunday.
did play them tough. You did play them tough on Turkey Day, and I was actually, I think, just from a Seahawks statistical and schedule standpoint, was kind of rooting for the Eagles to beat Dallas because we already lost to Dallas. So from the standpoint of us needing the help, that actually I think set up well so that when we beat you guys, everything will work out perfectly.
Well,
for the
this is
Seahawks.
a weird situation for the Cowboys fans because they need you guys to lose so they can have a shot at the wild card. And it's just but they also need us to lose because we're still fighting for that top spot in the division. So, they're squirming. And I love that this matchup's going to make them squirm even more. And so let's actually talk about your team now. You have a certain player that likes to talk a lot. Now, is he Mr. Richard Sherman? Now, is he as good as he thinks he is?
Well, yeah, I think that NFC Defensive Player of the Week, 2 picks against Kaepernick. The thing is, yes, he is. The reality is that we don't see the numbers in terms of quantities of picks this year because the reality is quarterbacks aren't throwing to him. So while other corners like to brag about, we got more interceptions, this and that, if you don't throw to him, of course he's not going to have the numbers, but the reality is when you do throw to him, you're going to pay the price. And a lot of quarterbacks have had to deal with that. So, yeah, he's good. And, he made it look easy against Kaepernick, but the reality is, because he's so smart up here, he knew what he was going to do before it happened. That's why it looked like he just threw it to him, because he was all over the route before Kaepernick even knew what was happening.
So
yeah, hey, I can respect a guy that talks trash and backs it up. Now, but he talks a lot of trash, and you know what? I think this week he's going to have to do a little less talking, because he's going to have to save his breath for that high-tempo offense. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he does have to back it up. He has been backing it up to this point, but the Seahawks are razor-focused, and, the game comes first. And, when things start to unravel and things start to play out, well, then we might start hearing some of that talking. But for now, I think the guys are just all about the game, focus on the play, one play at a time, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not worried about it. I think he'll be fine.
And from your Seahawks expert opinion, now, why hasn't Russell Wilson been able to have much success in the passing game? Like, he hasn't put up good passing numbers.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation as to what's the problem. Is it him? Is it the receivers being pedestrian? Or is it the line or something else? And my analysis is that it starts with the line. I mean, you go to any team on offense, if you don't have a good line, your offense goes as your line goes. And so he has been running for his life. Our offensive line is more of a run blocking team. Pass protection is second, and it's quite obvious. So, he's been very minimal time back there to throw the ball. And the reality is, if you don't have time, your receivers aren't going to have time to get their routes, and so you're not going to have much downfield opportunities. So there have been times when Russell has the time, he hits his targets, and they make good plays. It's just he usually doesn't have the time, and then he's running for his life, which is why he's one of the leading rushers out there in the NFL, because he's had to run so much to not get sacked. It starts with the line, and so hopefully they'll protect. Because I know that your Eagles got a good defense there, so they like to rush the quarterback. So we're gonna have to be a little tricky on that and make sure that doesn't happen.
Oh yes. So our defensive line And your patchwork O-line, I think, is going to cause a problem for you guys in this matchup. And Barwin just earned, I think it was the Defensive Player of the Month award. It was just announced today. So Barwin is in beast mode of his own. And, oh no, your QB better watch out. Because Barwin's hungry. He's hungry.
You know, if our offensive coordinator knows what your strengths are, and it's quite obvious what the strengths are, that there are always ways to defeat an aggressive pass rush, screen passes, draw plays. You know, so there are ways to get around it.
All right.
Turn it around, and use it to our advantage.
And speaking of coaching, so it's well known that Pete Carroll and Mark Sanchez, you know, they know each other well. Now, who has the advantage here? Pete Carroll knowing Sanchez as coaching him, or Sanchez knowing his coach?
All right, let me give you my take on Sanchez.
Okay.
Y'all saw what happened with Arizona with their backup quarterback, Stanton, right? He was doing fine after Carson Palmer went down. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, we can get to the Super Bowl with Stanton. Ran into the Seahawks defense, made him look horrible, and he's been on a downward spiral since that point.
Okay.
Now, when Mark Sanchez had to come in for Nick Foles, don't tell me you guys weren't like, oh, God, Mark Sanchez got to lead this team now. I mean, seriously, were you guys like, yeah, Mark Sanchez, can't wait to see him play, right? You guys are probably like, good, he hasn't screwed up yet.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think Carroll has the advantage because he knows his player, he knows the mindset, but I don't even think that's even necessary. You know, we're going to scheme it, and I think the fact is, we stopped the run against you guys, which you guys are a great running team. So we are a great rush defense team. So if we can stop the rush, force Sanchez into having to throw the ball more than Kelly wants him to, then he's going to throw right into the Legion of Boom's hands, and we'll see Sanchez for what we remember him to be like when he was with the Jets. So that's the formula. Now we got to stop the run. So if you guys run all over us, it's going to be pretty tough with that no huddle offense of yours. But that's the key to making Sanchez play like Sanchez. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. I agree. Mark Sanchez, he's one just mental breakdown away from going back to where he was. But it all comes down to coaching. I trust Chip Kelly, and he's really all about the mindset, the physical fitness and endurance. Like, I think he trains these players right. But in the case, you know, going up against your great secondary, Sanchez could have those embarrassing moments, and it's going to say a lot about the coaching. If he does have that moment, will he be resilient, or will he be like at the Jets, that horrible coaching staff where quarterbacks just, they crumble, you know, under pressure. So it'll be a good test. This will be a good test for him, and I'm always positive and hopeful. So we'll see where that gets us. But that's all the questions I had. So do you have any final thoughts? Oh, before we sign off, though, you and I have been working on a special video that's going to be on Norb's channel. So I'm going to put like an annotation and his link in the description, guys. So make sure you subscribe, because the video we're working on is really cool. It's all right, do you want to describe it a little bit, and then we'll sign off?
Yeah, well, I want to leave a little bit of surprise. I don't want to give too much away, but, you know, we could go all day back and forth. You know, me saying, well, we're going to win, you say you're going to win, and we can just kind of keep going in circles. So we just, you know, I thought it would be cool if we did something where we settle this in a different sort of way, still in the video form, but throw a little twist to it so that we can kind of show our own skills as well as trash talk about each other's team. So you'll get to see both of us in action, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
I'll leave it at that. But I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. I know my channel, you guys love trash talk. That's where the real fun happens, and that's gonna happen on his channel. Actually Friday, right? Is that?
I'm hoping if tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, I'm hoping to get it out tomorrow. So I'll be burning the midnight oil trying to get this done. So for Blue Friday, we could premiere that video. But yeah, that's the plan anyway. Definitely before the game.
All right. So before we sign off here, now things always are a little more interesting when there's a bet involved, and you know I'm one to always accept bets. And Norb had brought up a bet that, well, I guess you want to explain it?
Yeah, well, I thought, with all this talking we're doing, it seems it would be sort of empty to just leave it at that. So I thought a little wager to make this game a little bit more interesting for you and me. So let's just say, whoever team wins, that person, or I should say, if your team loses, you got to, on your next vlog, you've got to wear my team's hat, and at the end of your segment, you gotta do the Seahawks chant. So you gotta do the Seahawks with the cap on as part of your, being on the losing end of things. And obviously, I'll have to do the same thing. My team loses somehow.
You better have that Eagles hat ready for your post game.
All right, if need be, but I'm planning to save my money and not have to worry about it. So we'll see how it goes. Is that a deal? You want to shake on it?
Yes, shake.
All right, it's a deal. Wait, let's do that again. Ready? And shake on it. All right, you're on.
It's official. All right. Well, let me do this Eagles chant one more time just to remind you exactly how it goes. So that's it for now. It's your girl Dehlia with PhilaDehliaEagles.com signing off. E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles!
Seahawks!